Check and go. Okay, so this one is for COMMGiving.com. Just a short one at the end of the month regarding some computer tips and stories that tips. I am not a certified professional in hardware or software maintenance and information technology thing doodads, but I learned on my own, so pass them on to you, save you some time. Number one, you know the stick of RAM you use in your computer is actually like a little transistor, and they can get blown out, especially as they get older, or you use older RAM in a newer machine that has more horsepower. The CPU has a lot of horsepower. The software requires a lot of horsepower, and you have an old stick of RAM, it can actually blow out the RAM. And and what do I mean by that? I mean like the gold. If you ever looked at a stick of RAM, it has like a metal or gold elements. Those things will thin out. They will get worn down, and the electrical current that passes through them can actually blow them out. And so if you look at them afterwards, you'll see some of them are blackened because the electrical current from the horsepower required by your CPU and software has blown out the RAM. And what can cause that? What this week was the memory. The memory, it's kind of like on your cell phone where you boost the memory or you drain the RAM because all the apps are using the memory. Those types of utilities can blow out your physical RAM if your physical RAM is old, because those things require a lot of horsepower. And so every time you do a boost or you clean out your memory, it sends like electrical current into your RAM, and you keep doing it, it'll blow out your RAM. So instead of doing it that way, right? And I'm not talking about the phone, I'm talking about a computer. What should you do? Apparently, Bill Gates goes on, and on. And everybody else who loves Windows, they go on, on, on. It's all built into Windows. You don't have to add all these doodads if you're unfamiliar with them. And how do you do it? It has to do with the startup. Every time you start up your computer, it loads a bunch of processes. So what you do is, once again, I mentioned this before, you use the task scheduler. Instead of having those tasks run at startup, you have them run when the computer's idle or when you've locked it. When you lock it, when you log in with your credentials, and then when you step away, you lock your computer. You reschedule those tasks to run when you step away and have locked your computer. All right. Instead of what a lot of programs do by default, and there's probably a mountain of them, is when you boot up the computer, all those things run at startup. So what you do is, like, they clean out your disk, they give you a quick scan, they update software program. What you do is you reschedule them, not at the startup, but when you lock your computer and you step away for a cup of coffee. That's when they run. All right, because usually when you boot up your computer, you want to get going, you want to send out messages, you want to do email, you want to check your Twitter, all that stuff is the worst time to have those things running when you boot up, right? Because you boot up, you want to get going. So you get going. When you're done, you lock your computer, you go for your coffee break. That's when you reschedule those tasks to run. And that's how to do it. Instead of using those utilities that drain your battery, because per se they're not bad, but if you have old RAM and other old components, they might blow out the elements because your new software, new CPU has a lot of horsepower. All right, that's what I learned. Save you a lot of grief and save you time.